Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm the head of cargo safety and dangerous goods, although it appears about the only thing I get to talk about is lithium batteries. So just by way of a little bit of background, lithium cells and batteries are classified as dangerous goods based on their inherent hazards, and that implies also when those cells or batteries are in a mobile phone, laptop or tablet. So all of our consumer electronics are classified as dangerous goods. And to mitigate the risks associated with the movement of those, we have some things in the regulations, some important ones. All lithium-ion cells and batteries, when shipped by themselves, in other words, not with equipment or not installed in equipment, are restricted as cargo, and they are not permitted on passenger aircraft. Lithium-ion cells and batteries, again to reduce the risk, have to be shipped at a state of charge not exceeding 30% of their rated capacity. And there are other items there that you'll see that also go to reducing the risks. However, we still have some concerns. The top two is undeclared or improperly prepared lithium battery shipments. And unfortunately, we see a lot of that, some of it simply through ignorance. We get people, maybe they're a bike manufacturer or bike retailer, expand their offering into e-bikes, as lots of us want e-bikes these days, except that e-bikes are powered by a lithium battery. And we've unfortunately seen occasions where a manufacturer or seller has said, oh, I'll send a replacement battery to a customer, I'll just pop it in the mail. Well, that's not allowed, that is completely forbidden. And unfortunately, there's also some people who think that they can just not comply with the regulations because they don't want to, and ship things and declare it as children's clothing, toys. And we saw one occasion where in fact it was thousands of knockoff mobile phone batteries. And that puts a significant risk on everybody in the air transport chain, including, of course, the passengers who may be on that aircraft. The other concern that we have is the residual risk of a fire. So aircraft have fire suppression systems, but lithium batteries do pose a challenge. And here we're looking at adding elements. Undeclared lithium batteries are still a big part of that problem. Sometimes people don't follow the regulations, and sometimes we have batteries shipped with terminals exposed, which could lead to short circuits and a fire. So to reduce some of that residual risk, what we're looking at is working with the safety and security people together, is to look at the regulated agent known consigner. If we can strengthen that, then that's a portion of the cargo supply chain that, if you like, doesn't have to be looked at so closely, and we focus instead on the unknown cargo, the unknown shippers, or less known. And in that, we're looking to integrate safety and security. Oftentimes, we don't quite work closely enough together, and there is that opportunity to build on what security already has in place to strengthen the safety side of things, and that work is ongoing. For the airlines, they are required to do a safety risk assessment on everything that they put inside the aeroplane, or at least inside the aircraft cargo compartments. And here we're developing guidance material that will cover the carriage of cargo, mail, and as Brendan mentioned, e-commerce is growing. A lot of that is in international mail, and as well as passenger baggage. Passengers also put things in their bags that they shouldn't, and that can pose a risk of a fire, particularly power banks, spare batteries, e-cigarettes in particular. And so the focus is on the supply chain. How do we look at the risks posed by the shippers, the freight forwarders, the postal authorities, as well as passengers? Another area we need to pick up on is incident data. If we don't know what's going wrong, we can't possibly fix it. We don't know then what the root cause would be, how we can look at, is it training? Is it improvement in the regulations? Is it outreach? Is it enforcement? So we need better data, and we're working to build that data set so we can look at where the risks are and then how we can better address them. And in that we have our incident data exchange program that's open to all IATA members, and in fact also non-IATA member airlines. We have a lot of participating airlines, and we want to build that data set to include much more dangerous goods incident data. There's also regulatory changes. Just because we have the regulations doesn't mean that they can't be improved upon. And in fact, just last week at the Palais des Nations, just not far from here, the UN Subcommittee of Experts on the Transport of Dangerous Goods held the last meeting of their biennium. And one of the things that they agreed to was a new UN number, which is part of the way dangerous goods are identified, and proper shipping name that will be vehicles powered by lithium-ion batteries. Currently, the description we have is battery-powered vehicles. Well, what sort of battery? Is it a lithium battery, or maybe a wet cell battery, or nickel-cadmium? Doesn't tell us. With this new description, we now know the vehicle is powered by a lithium-ion battery. And here the focus isn't on the Teslas or the Minis or the Hyundai EVs. I'm talking about the e-scooters, the e-bikes, the hoverboards, all of these little electric things that you see zipping around the footpath, sidewalk if you prefer, all powered by lithium batteries. And they're typically shipped in cardboard boxes. And we don't therefore know just what sort of battery's in that box. It will give us better hazard communication because these will have a different hazard label to identify them. The airlines will be able to see what they're carrying. They can manage that, put them under a pallet cover or something like that. So there is an opportunity. And potentially, we may decide, or the ICAO Dangerous Goods Panel may decide, to say that lithium vehicles powered by lithium-ion batteries, like we ask for batteries shipped by themselves, at a reduced state of charge. That helps to reduce the risk. Another area that focuses on building a strong, resilient, compliant supply chain is our Centre for Excellence for Independent Validators for Lithium Batteries. And this is looking at shippers, forwarders, ground handlers, and airlines, and auditing them to look at their policies, their procedures, how their operation works, such that there is a demonstrated high level of compliance in the way that they ship, prepare, handle, and carry lithium battery consignments. And just on this, we just announced, in fact, it was confirmed yesterday, that DHL Global Forwarding in the UK has become the latest organisation to achieve CEIV certification. So they have 6 locations in the UK, and they're looking to expand that beyond the UK for the rest of the DHL Global Forwarding network. I've mentioned fire risk, and the airlines are looking at supplementing or providing additional protection beyond that offered by the aircraft systems. And here we're looking at things like fire-resistant containers. So these are aircraft containers that are loaded with cargo, mail or baggage that are able to withstand a fire involving a lithium battery for up to 6 hours. Similarly, fire containment covers. So this is a cover that sits over the cargo under the pallet net, provides similar sort of protection. And the value here is if there is a fire warning, it gives the flight crew time to get the aircraft on the ground and land safely. We believe 6 hours of fire protection will provide that just about anywhere in the world, regardless of where the fire warning is identified. But to do this, we're working with airlines, with manufacturers, with regulators such as the European Aviation Safety Agency, the US Federal Aviation Administration, to develop a fire test standard that can then be used to demonstrate the capabilities of these ULDs as meeting the standard. And the challenge we have at the moment, there is, without a standard, we have airlines that are spending some money, doing some testing, but there's no level playing field. The airlines that are interested are a little worried that if they buy something, will it meet the standard? How is it tested? And it's important that we have a global standard that can be applied. With all that, governments need to step up as well. We depend on the governments the civil aviation authorities of the world to do their job. The airlines can do as much as they can in trying to prevent the introduction of undeclared dangerous goods into the system, building better barriers, doing safety risk assessments. But it's only the government authorities that can do the enforcement, and particularly where we've seen people deliberately lie about what they offer as air cargo. And we believe those people, frankly, should be thrown in jail. But the governments have to step up and do that. We're looking also at, again, bridging between safety and security. Security does screening of cargo, but they are only looking for the bomb in the box. They're not looking for the undeclared lithium batteries. And we need some bridge between the two. Because if you've got somebody doing some screening and they see it, well, let's stop it. And there's technology available that can identify lithium batteries when they're screened. But we need that willingness to bring the two sides together. I mentioned the fire test standard. Once we have it, obviously we need the governments to support it, endorse it, such that the airlines can then deploy those across their fleet in the knowledge that they have the support of their Civil Aviation Authority. And again, coming back to the enforcement, governments need to talk to each other. If somebody like the UK finds undeclared dangerous goods that originated in Switzerland, we expect the UK to talk to the Swiss authorities and the Swiss authorities to keep the UK updated on what action they're taking. What did they find? What's the result of their investigation? And this needs to happen globally. And frankly, governments need to work together to achieve the outcomes. So with that, I will say thank you very much and invite questions if there are any. No? Confused everybody?
No.
Michael Mackey again. Looking into the coming year, what's the most likely area that there will be progress on in this field?
I'm hopeful that we will make significant progress on the development of the fire test standard for the pallet covers and the containers. We've already done a lot of work with airlines, with manufacturers, and with the regulatory authorities to build a bit of a framework of what the fire test standard should look like, or at least what the parameters should look like. And we want to progress that through the SAE Aerospace Committee. They'll be the group that will in fact be responsible for developing a standard. And so we want to get to a stage where that committee can start its work, and we would hope that through the course of 2023 that we see significant progress.